why don't we address the gorilla right there and talk about agility as a mindset, agility as a philosophy, and how it is helping us right here at Zoho, my own company, to continue to keep the trains running on time, continue to innovate, continue to help customers around the world. Let's get started. You remember this pithy saying, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. When was it? Who said it? How relevant is it to every time, every scenario, every situation you can even ever concoct? It is still relevant. It is a truism. It's right there. It's just there. It's a commandment. You can apply, you can accept that as the universal truth. Here is another example. Whatever the financial condition in your family, in your society, in your country, in the world, whatever the economic upswings and downturns, recessions and booms, if you aren't a borrower or a lender, you can be saved. That's again a timeless, eternal truth that you can hold up as a North Star, a compass, and continue to live your life. So when I look at the agile principles, that's how I see it too. I received this on WhatsApp recently. It talked about why a kid hated mathematics. The kid says, I get this in class, 5 plus 5, what is the answer? And then they give me some homework with a little more complication, something like this. Fine, I put sweat, blood, toil, effort, time, and I get some answers. But why on earth do they give me a test like this with 2 sheep flying, one yellow and the other headed right? How much does a pound of asphalt cost, given that the cow is 10 years old? Come on. This is like a googly and a bouncer put together. This is exactly how each one of us felt when COVID, the coronavirus, the lockdowns that came along with it, the work from home chaos, the blessing in disguise, the double-edged sword, all those came together and basically underwrote 2020 as the worst year ever for many of us. That's exactly how we felt. But we have been given some amazing principles, 12 of them specifically. And I want to take each one of those from the original manifesto and give you a little tidbit from my own personal life, from the way I ran my team, from the way my company has been thriving in this period, for you to take home as probably an implementable and applicable approach to work beyond COVID. That's your vaccine. Satisfying the customer. Highest priority, the keywords there are satisfying, early and continuous, and valuable software. Continuous delivery. So when you compare what we were doing before Corona, that's almost like a BC and an AD difference, before Corona and after disease, when we look back, we realize these were important things that we did and we chose not to do. We chose not to do more and more new products and instead tried to strengthen the existing ones, stabilize the existing ones, make the ones that already existed talk meaningfully with each other, make them all remote friendly. So it was a take pause and look back kind of moment. Typically, when there is a need for a product, when there is need for resources in a product, we associate resources proportional to the work involved, don't we? But here, for the first time, we decided to associate resources disproportionately, simply because the market clamored for it. There were customers worldwide asking for a remote conferencing tool, asking for a digital signing tool, even though the work required was little, even though the complexity wasn't too much, we decided to put more resources into it simply because here was the market, And much of the market was actually having a secondary market of their own. We were giving software to people who were giving software to their customers. So when that is the case, you need to do disproportionate resource allocation. Again, with the aim of continuous delivery. And instead of marketing to new prospects, finding new ways to somehow decide and predict who will be wanting what, we decided to focus on existing customers and supporting them. 60 million of them around the world. Here is a time. This is the time in need for that friend in need. Can we be that friend? Can we extend that helping arm? That was our focus more primarily than looking for new prospects and expanding our business. Which is why we came up with Remotely, which is a package of 8 to 9 products from within the Zoho suite of products. And what's unique about this suite is it's truly agile. You don't need top management inking a document and getting into a contract for anybody in the leaf nodes of your hierarchy to start using software. You can just like that install it, subscribe to it for free, and start using the minimal services. And then based on need, you can start using it for your team and then slowly expand it across your organization. This is how Slack, for example, became a prevalent tool. It was the water cooler that helped Slack become what it is today. And that is pretty similar to the approach that we adopted because we wanted to empower the individual out there without the bureaucratic red tape coming in the way. Embracing change. The keywords being even late in development, harnessing change to our advantage. So we tried hard to make every one of our products suit every one of the customer needs out there. But let me tell you this, after 25 years of doing this over and over again, we have realized customers will always have unreasonable, unrealistic demands. And that's good. That's how innovation happens. That's how you reach out and become better. But there is no pleasing the customer forever. Which is why over time we have realized probably we should look at I, C, and E. What I mean by I, C, and E is integration, customization, and extension. So today our software is 90-10. 90% of it is built, 10% is left for you to build. We provide you extensibility. And using that extensibility, you can also jack our software with other software from Zoho or any other company that you have subscribed to or purchased and make it all work together. Because that's the need of the hour. One password, one sign-in, one data center for our data, one GDPR policy, one umbrella under which everything comes. All data talks with each other meaningfully and insights pop out with great relevance. So we gave the customer, the end user, we call them the citizen coder. Just like we had citizen journalists who started becoming journalists on their side time, here we had citizen coders who were not just happy using our software, they wanted to add custom extensions to it. And that's what allowed us to embrace change like never before during the past year. Frequent delivery, manifesto number 3. And the keywords is frequently. It's not years frequent. iOS comes out once every year. No, it's months or probably even weeks. And in the case of some products like Zoho Mail and Zoho CRM, we have seen almost daily releases happening. I remember this person. He's a product manager for Microsoft. His name is Aaron Bjork. And he has a very interesting principle, a philosophy. He doesn't have a project plan with dates attached to it. He has a project plan with the number of bug cap attached to it. He says 40 bugs. If there are 40 bugs at any point of time ongoing in the project, all new development stops and we focus on fixing those bugs and shipping it to the main trunk. I thought that was a very interesting philosophy. That was a long-term proof philosophy. There was a tire-proof philosophy. You won't get tired chasing an unrealistic deadline because you have a number. And once you hit the number, you stop pressing the accelerator pedal and start working on fixing the tires. That's important. And that's exactly what happened with each of our products, particularly focused on the remotely packaged. So from Zoho Meeting to Zoho Click, Connect, and Backstage, all these were collaboration products. And we decided it is okay to release slightly buggy software with a few features not yet fully baked, software which doesn't scale to 60 million users yet, because out there our customers said, it is okay, give it to us, we will work with you on fixing it. That was true 360-degree feedback happening simply because we said it is okay to go pre-beta. Here is a pre-beta, and that worked out well for us. Cross-functional collaboration, and the key being developers and business people working together daily. The classic case of Steve Jobs, when asked in the year 1984 about how come he came up with such an amazing product like the Apple Macintosh, he is supposed to have said it's so good, not because they're all software engineers or computer hardware engineers, but they are musicians, historians, artists, poets who also happen to be amazing with a computer. The cross function, that horizontal bar of the T, is so important. In Originals, Adam Grant says the same thing. He talks about his research of 3,000 plus scientists who were very good already, but only 100 of which had won the Nobel Prize. So what had differentiated those 100? Not that they knew more science. It seems the ones that actually did it were having side gigs, like some of them had crafts, some of them had writing as a side hobby. Most of them, the 22 times more probable if you were in the performing arts. A scientist who is already good at science gets a chance at the Nobel Prize simply because he or she is already having a flair for performing arts. That's what gets the non-conformist, the performers in the world. So we saw this actually happen in Zoho Schools of Learning. This is an experiment to provide an alternative to conventional college education. They have been running it for 16th year now. And for the first time, we noticed that now that the classes were all digital, any student could attend any class. Instead of the tech student attending tech classes and the design student attending design and art classes and the business student attending marketing and sales classes and technical support classes, we actually allowed some of the top performing students in each class to audit classes in other departments. This was the first time that we had tried it. And today we see that they have come out as more well-rounded individuals ready to take on the world. So we saw that cross-functional collaboration really bear fruit. We are looking forward to results when they enter the workforce at Zoho. And we use tools like Zoho Zone, Click, and Zoho Meeting to make this happen in the past year, because they were all at their homes and all the faculty members were at their homes and we were able to connect and collaborate. Support and trust, particularly when you are not micromanaging with all your employees within arm's length in the same office environment. It's a huge challenge for both the employee and the employer or the manager. They have to be motivated and you have to support them and ensure that they realize that you trust them. There is this beautiful book called by Derek Sivers called Hell Yeah or No. In Hell Yeah or No, he says it's not yes or no, it is hell yeah. If you don't have hell yeah as an answer for your question, don't even do that. And when looking for what is my passion really, don't ask the silly question of, am I happy when I do this? No, you'll have 100 passions then, because I'm happy doing this, I'm happy doing that, and so on. Instead, if you want to narrow down on your true passion, ask yourself, what makes you unhappy if you don't do it every day? What makes you unhappy when you don't get the opportunity to do it anymore? That is what you need to ask to identify what your true passion could probably be. That's what we did when our employees were scattered around the countryside, each at their home. Most of them rebooted. Most of them wondered, why am I doing what I am doing? The existential question started coming in their minds. And that is when we actually went down to brass tacks and we started having that important conversation with them. What is your motor? What's your battery? What truly motivates you? What is your ikigai? Let's get that first. And we had so many of our team members do some early corrections about their KRAs and roles. And today they thank for that. They thank us for the conversation that they had. Support and trust. I remember there was this joke about a kid renaming his Zoom ID, saying ... connecting ... because he didn't want the teacher to ask him a question, right? And we had, look at this, a school teacher from Singapore.
Any questions? Now we can finish our class. Do you have any questions?
Hi, Prof.
Hi, Prof. Actually, muted all the while, so we cannot hear anything from you since 6:08.
He has been on mute for the past 2 hours.
6:08 p.m.
You mean how long did you hear from the first few minutes?
First few minutes. Yeah. Then from 6:08 onwards, your screen froze and we hear nothing from you ever since.
He has a breakdown.
Can taste. Okay, so maybe I will redo this class sometime. Sorry.
We had that. We had that happen in our own teams because there are people in villages where the internet and the power is not as good as it is in the cities. We had people there. We had people doing it from mobile phones instead of their laptops. So we had all these problems. And we also had this, the parent, both the mother and the father, having to balance a child on their lap while having a laptop. We acknowledged the situation. We understood the problems. And again, it was an Agile Manifesto sentence, ensuring they felt supported and ensuring they felt trusted. It's not that you support or trust them. It is that you ensure that they feel supported and they feel trusted. Nothing to beat face-to-face conversations. I'm sure you all agree. Even if today I'm able to sit at my own studio and reach out to each of you wherever each of you is, nothing to beat that warm handshake and that beautiful vista, meeting people, strangers, understanding, feeling, and relating. It's all about the conveying of information, and that really comes into its own when you have a face-to-face conversation. So this is again talked about in Rework by Jason Fried and the CEO of 37 Signals, where he talks about hire from everywhere. Don't be stuck in a city and say, I will hire only the top talent available in this city. You're missing out on amazing talent all around the world. Wherever you are, whatever else they are doing, just get their time zone and look for overlaps in time zone and get going. Once in a while, meet in person. So he has an office, Jason Fried, and they use the office only for meetings. He has remodeled the whole office. There is no cubicle space out there. And he ensures people come in and they use it for meetings, real face-to-face brainstorms. But brainstorming is only 10% of the day. Remember that. The remainder of the 90%, you can actually work from wherever you are. And most of the time, in the solitude of your own cave at home or some co-working space is actually better than the noisy office. That's what this book says. Here is an experiment we actually tried with face-to-face conversation. And we invited people to leave their camera on And the camera wasn't a full-on face view. It was on the side view. They had a second camera and they set it up so that I could actually see what they were doing. They could actually see what I was doing, and we could continue to work on our own. The unnerving big brother watching, feeling full-on view was kind of slowly phased away. And today, I feel connected to my team because in my second monitor, while I am working, I can just do that and I'll be able to see them working on their work, exactly like if you're in an office environment. This has really worked out, and I strongly recommend that you try it too. All it needs is a second camera or a second monitor. And whoever in each of these boxes that you see, they are scattered around Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. You can't even tell who they are and where they are sitting. It's just that you get that warm feeling of being part of a larger community rather than just being a loner sitting in a dark room. Working software, instead of putting on some meaningless metrics, make the software itself the measure of what you are trying to produce. Working, that's the measure of progress. There is Goodhart's law. Some of you will surely be accustomed to it. When a measure becomes the target, it ceases to be a good measure. So you can't say, I will measure you on the number of nails, because if you are looking for 1-inch nails, they will bring you 1,000 or probably 100,000 millimetric nails and say, you told me number of nails and here they are, because I am not going to stick to the other thing you wanted me to measure. And then you change your mind and say, I will measure you on the weight of nails. Then they will bring you 3 very heavy 1-ton nails. That is the curse of Goodhart's law. When you start measuring something, that becomes the target. That's exactly what we see in colleges and schools too. When marks become the measure, the students and the teachers start aiming for, how do I get 100 on 100 in this subject? Not, how do I become a true learner of this subject? That's the curse. So when you look at working software, there is this iterative model. You lay it out, the big picture, and then slowly add more and more definition to it. You're all surely familiar with this iterative versus incremental model, where in incremental, it is almost like a dot matrix or a inkjet printer, producing it in one pass. The eye is perfectly done before the chest or the lower parts of the body are even attempted. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages. Iterative is better, they say, with software. But you know what? Instead of Leonardo da Vinci and Mona Lisa, we found inspiration in Picasso. Because Picasso started his bull with this great definition. And over time, he said, I am going to take away whatever is not needed for it to be a bull. I will retain only those things that, if taken away, it ceases to be a bull. That's what he did. Look at those iterations. He takes them all away. Takes them all away. That is the essence of bull. Steve Jobs had this block printed and put up at Apple headquarters, because that is the importance they lay to simplicity and elegance, simply based on whatever is not needed shouldn't be there in the first place. And thanks to Zoho being what it is, we collaborate using our own software. Long before our spreadsheets and our documents and our presentation tools hit the world out there, the 60 million of the world out there, they are tested by 10,000 employees actually collaborating day to day. We use mail, Zoho Mail. Our customers, we use Zoho CRM. For managing projects, we use Zoho Projects and Sprints, which is our agile equivalent. For every one of our needs, we look inwards, and that automatically becomes the classic eating your own dog food and hence testing it long before and so well before it reaches the outside world. 45 minutes, I thought. 30 minutes. I heard music.
Yeah, so
No,
that
the first timer is after 20.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Don't worry, I am keeping pace. Sustainable pace. Yeah, I am sustaining my pace, I guess. So it's about being sustainable and ensuring it can run on indefinitely. It can keep going on because, see, there is this thing about running a sprint. Usain Bolt on the 110th meter, he will not be the person who he was in the 90th meter. But you look at the marathoner Kipchoge, and he can keep running the second marathon without even noticing that he is doing it. The ability to do both of these together, to run short sprints, while keeping in mind that this is the marathon, and while looking back retrospectively, that's probably what we all need. Because, see, the truth is the office is a jail. It closeted you, it put you in a cubicle, it gave the same amount of space to everybody around. It rang a bell and you had a coffee break. It rang a bell and you entered. It rang a bell and you left. Yeah, many commonalities between an office and a jail. But it did do one thing well. It gave you that sanitized environment where you could really focus, where you could tell that probably today is a working day, tomorrow is not. Probably you tell just by looking at your watch, but that now is working time and now it is not. On the other hand, guess what happened with COVID? Four things happened. We lost touch about what day of the week it was. I remember during the lockdown period, we simply lost track of what day it was. We lost track of what time it was because we were stuck indoors. And people started questioning and asking, why do I really need to pursue higher education for n number of years in a particular location abroad when the internet can give me all that I need? And dangerously, people started wondering, how will my company even know if I'm doing this second job in this other company? Side gigs, the gig economy, they kept calling it. They started flourishing. Today, I really don't know how many of my team members are working elsewhere. But thankfully, I don't care because my intent is not to micromanage and monitor, but to inspire. Give them enough challenging work that they want to work with us. Not that I need them to work with us, but they want to work with us. That's the difference. Talking about technical excellence and the close cousin, technical debt, it's about attention, continuous attention to good design that enhances agility. There was the story of the Theseus paradox where he starts off with a brand new ship, but along the way, small pieces of wood, planks of wood break off, and he starts replacing them with fresh planks. And over time, he realizes that probably none of the wooden planks that he started with are even anymore part of the original ship. So the question is it still Theseus' ship? That's the story that comes to mind when I look at the code base that supports these products like Zoho Creator, Zoho Recruit, Zoho Meeting, because probably none of the original code survives in these products. Over time, they started acquiring craft, and over time, they started growing sluggish. The famous technical debt caught on, and that's when the agile principle of giving primary importance to technical excellence and good design raised the flag. And we told ourselves, it is okay if the world out there doesn't perceive a single new feature. Let's rewrite the whole thing. The time has come to pull the engine out, rip it apart. And then once we do that, every one of our future iterations will be much, much faster. We took a bet. And thankfully, for every one of those products, our customers helped us, they cooperated with us, and after that brief hiatus of almost seeming to be no activity, we are now going forward much, much faster. So attention to that technical debt and attention to when is the time that the Theseus ship has really changed into some other beast and it is time to go back to basics is very, very important. Keeping it simple, when you look at keeping it simple, it's about maximizing the amount of work not done. And this is my classic example always. When I look at the mess of remotes on my table and when I look at that little guy, the Apple TV remote, everything that needs to be there, nothing that doesn't need to be there. Look at the comparison. That's exactly what we went through when we saw that we now had a huge mass. It was almost like an army of products, 52 in last count of products over the years that we had been promoting and building and launching. For a moment, we didn't really look at the fresh customer who came along and asked, what is Zoho? And we started telling it is 52 different products that help you take your business online. So we wanted a better answer to that. We wanted to say it is an operating system for your business. We wanted to say it's actually not 52 different products. It is 52 features for one amazing product called Zoho One. That transformation happened in the past 2 years. We kept telling ourselves that we need to simplify. We need to simplify. That's the ultimate sophistication, like Leonardo da Vinci once said. So that is how Zoho One was born. Again, self-organization where intelligence is at the edges. It is not one central manager managing everything, monitoring everything, and sending out commands and ensuring they're all followed. We wanted a decentralized structure. It seems the octopus has 9 brains, not one. Because the octopus has to not only move its tentacle to a particular location, but also feel for something there in the goo and pick it up or suck or push away and so on. So there is a big picture thinking as well as a micro detail thinking that is needed. And the single brain couldn't do both. So the central brain takes care of moving the large remote tentacles, and at the end of each tentacle, there is a nervous bunch, a nerve bunch that acts as a second brain. So 8 + 1, 9 brains, they say. And guess what happened to Zoho, which was once upon a time in one location in Chennai. Today, it is in 24 different locations spread across southern India. We have 2 offices in Kerala, 1 office in Karnataka, another coming up in Andhra. We have 20 different offices around Tamil Nadu. Here is an office that you see here. Here is another, the interior of that office. And we have tried to adhere to social distancing, remove air conditioning, provide all kinds of localized facilities. So the key there is one central management team doesn't execute each of the decisions those remote places need. Self-organization, as laid out in the principle itself, was key. We had to extend our trust. We had to go out on a limb and say, hey, run your office the way you would. We are available for any consultation. We are available for any support you need in logistics, but run it your way. And a beautiful side effect of that is people who want to work in that locality or under that kind of management philosophy, they choose those locations. And today, from the central headquarters in Chennai, more and more people are going out to places where they were born, places that they have always been wanting to go to, and they are settling out there. Self-organization, empowerment, rural empowerment is happening thanks to that agile principle. The 12th one was about inspecting and adapting. So it's at regular intervals, you reflect, you pause, you stop. Why am I doing what I'm doing? That famous quote by Simon Sinek. He asks, why? Start with why. And then you make little adjustments. And that's how you change your behavior. The Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland, She says you must run as fast as you can to stay in the same place. Meaningless, ridiculous. It doesn't make sense at all. But that is the life we are living. We are not able to take that side job. We are not able to learn that little trick that we have always wanted to do, simply because all our time is already spent just chasing and remaining in the same place. You need to step off the rat race, don't they all say? And she again says, the Red Queen says, it's hard to get a little better when you want to be consistently good. If you're going to set yourself the unrealistic challenge of always only being one level of good and always only getting better and better and better, I'm sorry, my dear friend, you're not going to be able to improve anything at all. You need to be able to step off that treadmill. You need to be able to take pause and inspect and adapt. And talking about inspecting and adapting, this is what we did in the past year and a half. Instead of just launching new modules in our products, we focused on what can we refactor? What can we make what's already there better? How can we make it talk to what already exists? There are probably, combinatorially speaking, 1,000 interconnections possible among the 52 different products. Have we looked at each of those? So we looked inwards. Instead of building out new, we wanted to check what we had already achieved. Instead of just making it look good, we actually went all the way and embraced the user experience principle of keeping it simple, not forcing the user to think. Don't make me think. It's a very hard question to answer. When the user asks, why am I presented with this interface? You can't give an answer saying it looks beautiful. That's why. Sorry. It's not about how it looks, it's about how it works, says Steve Jobs. And instead of looking at marketing something better, mining your data and finding a way to cross-sell and upsell products to you, we said we will uphold. In fact, we were GDPR compliant before GDPR came along and became the buzzword of the day. So we had chosen way back in 2006 that we will not monetize customer data, which is why even our AI hasn't grown as fast as Google's, because our AI is restricted. It is sparse AI. It's AI based on data we have about you and your group of people working with you, your employees, your customers. No insight that we can derive from that can be used elsewhere, nor can we share any other insights with you. So we focused on that sacred philosophy that we will always uphold customer data sovereignty. And then it was also about not just delivering products, but how can we empower our end users to become product owners themselves? As many as 10,000 little applications, some of them for vaccine tracking, some of them for contact tracing, some of them for delivery to remote places. They have been built over the past year by so many employees and so many individuals in various organizations, thanks to our deluge layer, which is that 90-10 that I talked about, that allows you to extend and not our products with other existing products out there. So this was an inspect and adapt, thanks to the advice given by the 12th item in the manifesto. So those were the 12 that we saw. And if you want to look at something that combines them all, puts them all together, come on, Agile is not about a book or a degree or a black belt or a particular course that you complete. It's about a mindset. It's about a way of thinking. Once you get that way of thinking correct, you can listen to a talk, you can read a book, you can meet a person, you can attend a workshop or a seminar and take the relevant tidbits and apply it using your mindset, and then take the right decisions that will prove to be a vaccination to not just COVID, to anything else that comes along your way in your quest for excellence in your company. So thanks a lot.